In fact, their term, for the most part, was fresh thinking. I want fresh thinking. But they said to me, because I asked the question, does that mean you only want 23-year-olds just coming out of college? In all due respect to you, any of you who are 23?
Yeah. Yes.
Is that what they're thinking? No. The answer was no. Because I asked them that question. Is that what you mean by fresh thinking? They said no. It's probably a win-win situation. There's an overused cliche, huh? It's probably one of those situations where if you have been employed at the company for a while, and you know the inner workings of the company, what works, what doesn't work, and you have an idea for the future as to how you're going to help better position the company for the future, and you've got that fresh thinking, that's probably an ideal situation. And partially because your ramp-up time is much less than somebody brand new. So that's probably an ideal situation. And if you're a job seeker, that's how I believe you're going to get the attention of business owners and CEOs, is that you don't take the traditional path to approaching a company. In fact, what CEOs told me oftentimes is that if you just send in your resume, right, your chances of being considered by us are single-digit percentages. Partially because if you take that approach, that says to them, you aren't thinking fresh. You're just doing the things that you've been doing forever. And they think that that's going to give them an indication as to how you're going to be on the job. Right? So the new approach is to not send your resume, is to send what we call a value proposition letter, which is a one-page business-looking document that is addressed to the decision maker at the company. And you found that out through your research. Who is the decision maker? Head of this department, head of this division, whatever's applicable to you. The first paragraph, which is about 2 or 3 sentences in this value proposition letter, really says to them, this person knows my company. It doesn't say, I have years of experience. It doesn't say, I have this degree. It doesn't say, I'm looking for a meaningful opportunity with a progressive company that values my, you know that, right? You can finish that sentence. It doesn't say that. It says that it's my opinion that your company is ideally positioned to leapfrog your competition because of these factors. Think about it. If you're a decision maker and you read that letter, what are you going to think? I want to talk to that person. That's exactly. You may not hire him, but you're like, I have a fiduciary responsibility to my company to talk to this person. Right? That's new thinking. But for those of you who are looking for a job, that's how you differentiate yourself versus the 100 million resumes that are sitting on the internet right now. That is not a fictitious number. Yes, ma'am?
So are you saying you send that letter and not attach your resume?
That's correct. That's correct, because I've worked with about 700 senior-level managers, professionals, executives in the last few years. And the ones that attached that value proposition letter and thought of it as a cover letter did not get a response. And you know why? Because I talked to the CEOs and their assistants who said, when I saw that and I saw a resume was paper-clipped or stapled or whatever, or electronically sent, because we don't look at resumes, I 86'd it. So it's a standalone document that goes directly to the decision maker. And the first paragraph is something along the lines of what I said, right? It says to them, wow, this person has done their homework. They know my company. They know the hot buttons here. They know information that about 80% of my employees don't even know. This is impressive. I want to talk to them. That's exactly what happens.
Is that possible for companies to open up? Say there's position, the talent pool, we want to hire this number of people.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give the people a chance. Maybe a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
You mean your existing people, or?
No, just the people applying
Okay.
for the position.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a chance to open up like this whole morning.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody give 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever presentation, what you can do, what it's all about.
Yes.
Selective, face-to-face.
Yes.
You know,
It's not a bad idea. I'm not sure I see many CEOs doing that,
No.
because they're not fresh thinking, right?
Start your letter with, I wish to bring attention to, boom, boom, boom. The reason I say that is resumes, like he just said, are so passé, garbage. The thing is you want to be recognized more so than anything. All the stuff that you've learned in the past, and I'm sure you're going to attest to this, all things you learned in the past, throw out. No longer. But if you want to talk to a CEO, you had better be darn ready not to waste his time or her time. Because if you do, you will never apply to that company again, because he makes sure his executive will call someone and say, put this name on my blacklist. So remember, bring their attention to something, not just positive, but bring it negative, because you know what? You bring it out. If you attach resumes, you're a dead person right there.
Yep. So the whole goal of this approach is to differentiate yourself from all the other candidates. And how they view that, and this is what they told me, is that's fresh thinking to them. That you didn't send a resume. You didn't put a cover letter on. Like 99.99 million of those 100 million resumes on the internet did. They said, this is fresh thinking. This is a new approach. And then through research techniques, and I'll talk about that in a bit, how you can uncover some insight. And I'm not talking about violating any confidentiality laws or anything like that. That'll grab their attention in that first paragraph. After that first paragraph, yes, sir.
I don't want to cut you off.
That's all right.
Really what you're saying is you're trying to identify the need by doing your research. I think identifying the need is what's going to get the attention. If you know what the need is, and you send a letter in that is like a good sales letter, it is saying, I believe I understand your need, and I have a solution. And then put a little bit about that solution, but not a lot. To me, I'm comparing it to a sales letter. If you know you have something good that's going to help them, don't give them everything. Don't give them all the specs of it, which is this term, a resume.
Right.
In a proposal, it would be the details, the price, delivery, and all that.
Bait the CEO.
I found you're baiting them in, and you're saying, you're also not desperate. Whether, and I'm referring to whether you're in sales or whether you're in, transition. But kind of bait it in that you have something, you'd love the opportunity to talk further. What you're doing is you're keeping it on a balanced level. I think I have something, I think you need something, and maybe we should talk. I think it's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that's along the right lines there. But some of those CEOs said to me, I don't even know exactly what I need. I know I need a change, right? That's the idea of creative disruption. I can't even define and articulate exactly what I need.
But they might be able to identify what the problem is, not the solution for it.
Maybe.
So if you get on the same wavelength, and also you're not saying, here, I have the solution, here it is. Now I'm thinking that's going to be pretty presumptuous, and this guy might be, or gal might be very arrogant. So that might turn me off. But
Stop
kind
talking
of a
about
balance.
I guess that's always a possibility, but I think it's worth a risk. Because I see so many job seekers who spend hours and hours at the internet, on Monster.com or Career Builder or $100,000 jobs or whatever those sites are. Hours on them. That's a big risk. That's a huge risk in my opinion, especially when you hear the numbers that less than 5% of all senior level professional manager executive hiring happens that way. Less than 5%. The odds aren't good. That's a high risk in my opinion. Right? So think about it that way.